Not yet? Better? Yeah? Okay. So I can't see the screen, so I'll kind of, is it too loud? Yeah, right? You can't do anything, so this is good? Okay. All right, Bismillah. So welcome everyone. I'm not used to the so far apart. This is my first in-person workshop during COVID. So I'm used to everyone in one room. And so today we're going to be talking about a topic that many of us kind of steer away from. It's mindfulness. And we'll go over what that really is, because when I first wanted to do this topic, a lot of people thought that mindfulness is all about meditation, because that's what we hear, right? That mindfulness is about meditation. But today we'll kind of go over what that is. So before I start, my name is Reena Vanza. I am one of the directors at Cedarway Therapy, which is a clinic with multiple clinicians that speak a lot of languages. We have psychologists, psychotherapists. We deal with people from all across the age span, so youth and elderly. We deal with all sorts of mental health issues, wellness issues, so anxiety, depression, stress management, anything you can think of. We also do psychological assessments and treatment. So if you have any questions, maybe after the session, you can come and talk to me. I have a few pamphlets here, and I also have a few business cards if anyone is looking for additional support. At the end of the session, I'll also share a few resources that you guys can turn to if you're looking for more support. Okay? All right, Bismillah. Oh, is that okay? Oh, it's back. All right. So in every workshop that we do, we have to have a disclaimer, and that just means that this presentation is only for the purpose of your education and your awareness. You will be learning tips and skills that you can take home with you. However, if you have any advice that's given to you by your own healthcare practitioner, we advise that you don't change that, okay? So you can incorporate all the things you learn, but if you do follow somebody, then it's good to talk to them to see if you can apply any of these techniques that you learn. Right. So today's goal is, well, there's multiple goals. And the basic goal is to understand what mindfulness is. You will take home with you ways of how to integrate mindfulness into your daily life so that you can increase. Hello? Okay. That's fine. Brother, this is actually okay. This is perfect. Okay. Yeah. And so what mindfulness does is that you will increase your focus and attention. It will help you reduce your stress levels and appreciate your present moment. And I'll focus a little bit on that because a lot of the times, you know, we kind of worry about either what's happened in the past or we worry about what's going to happen in the future. And so a lot of depression, anxiety comes from that sort of not being present right now. And so mindfulness is a way of how do I be present right now in this moment? Mindfulness also helps with being grateful. Something in Islam we talk about all the time is shukr. And it also helps you to have a greater sense of calm. And this is where we talk about stress management. Okay? And ultimately, when you are more mindful and you are more self-aware of yourself, you have better relationships with others. Because as we know, we can't change others, even though half our life goes by trying to change the people around us. What we can do is we can start to change ourselves. If you have any questions during, or if you want me to repeat something, just kind of raise up your hand and I'll turn to you. Okay? So in a nutshell, mindfulness is a lot. But how I like to do it is teaching people that mindfulness basically is focusing on your present moment, right? A minute ago, I said that a lot of the times we focus on the past. Why did this happen? I wish I could have done that. I should have done this. And so our mind kind of goes in regrets, right? And that's where symptoms of depression can come up because we start to think about that past. Or many times people start thinking about the future. What am I going to do? Is this going to work out? Is this going to go the way I planned? And so our mind goes into the future. Now, if you really think about it, and Islamically speaking as well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not give us control over that past that is gone and over a future that's yet to come. He gives us the present, what we can do with our present moment. And that's basically what mindfulness is about. It's about cultivating your present space. What can I do right now with my feelings, my emotions, my thoughts, my situation? Okay? It's living moment to moment. And so when I say that, it's about noticing, right? We are constantly either in our past or in our future. And so it's about noticing what's happening right now in this moment. What mindfulness is not is only meditation. I know a lot of people learn about mindfulness through like the Buddhist practice or something like that, where they think mindfulness is about yoga, it's about meditation. It can be, right? Absolutely, because those are ways of focusing on your now. But Islamically speaking, when we're talking about mindfulness, a lot of people say to me, how do you relate mindfulness to Islam? Well, you'll learn with me, and I'm sure most of you have more knowledge than I do. We've heard of the words khushu', right? We've learned of the words muraqabah or ihsan. That's basically mindfulness, is being in khushu', being present with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at every moment. Right? Understanding the signs, like there's grapes here for a reason, and we're going to walk through that as well. So a lot of people think, oh, mindfulness is connected to other religious practices. I refute that because I totally believe that mindfulness is connected to our religion. We're all about, we learn about waswasa and the past, regrets, don't be in despair, don't worry about the future, tawakkul. This is all Islam, this is our religion. Okay, so don't be shy of incorporating mindfulness into your daily life. Right, so why is this important? Well, because I see this at clinic and including my own life, most of us are living life on automatic, right? So what I mean by that is as soon as we wake up in the morning, we roll out of bed, we go to the bathroom, we brush our teeth, we take a shower, we come downstairs, and life just goes on automatic. Constantly. And many of the times, especially nowadays, you'll notice we come to the end of the day and we go, what just happened? Right? Like, where did this day go? And most of us now are coming to the end of summer and we're going, where did summer go? That's us on automatic, not really appreciating that there's still time, there's moments that we're not paying attention to. Okay? And so what does that automatic do? It increases your sense of stress, right? Because you're constantly go, go, go. You're not pausing. You're not being grateful. You're not appreciating. You're on this go. You're ungrateful because you're not noticing. You're not noticing the signs of Allah. You're not noticing the blessings. You're not noticing what you have, okay? Then you get tired. At the end of the day, you're tired because you've been on the run. You're not slowing down. Your mind is like a tape recorder, right? That it keeps moving. And when we're on that automatic, from morning to night, we lack self-care, right? Many of the times you'll notice our salahs are fast. We just go into salah, we finish it, okay, checkbox, done, right? And then we start worrying about the past and the future is what I'm talking about, what I talked about in the slide before this. And it affects our health, right? We talk about stress. How does stress impact our health? Because that's what stress does. It's wear and tear to our internal organs. And ultimately then, when we're on automatic, living fast, not pausing, just jumping to conclusions about things, right? Something happens, we react, okay? We don't have time to sort of ponder on the space in between something happening and my reaction, right? If something's not done, I shout. The kids do something, I scream. My husband doesn't come on time, I do something, right? So it's that fast that we're on constantly, and it starts to affect our relationships, okay? And so basically, the automatic lifestyle doesn't make us realize that between stimulus, so things that happen, right? Your husband, your spouse, your teacher, your sibling, between that and how you respond, there's a space. I can choose to respond a certain way if I'm mindful. If someone shouts at me, I can shout back impulsively and reactively, but mindfulness helps us pause. Okay, it helps us go, how do I want to react? Is this the best way to react? So it ultimately is increasing that gap between everything that's happening and your reaction. Making sense? Yeah? Okay. And so as a technique, it's basically the ability to intentionally pay attention to your present moment. Now, Islamically speaking, our religion is all about intentions, right? It's all about your intention. And so it's the ability to intentionally pay attention to your present moment without judgment, right? So present moment, we usually go to, this is good, this is bad, I'm criticizing, I'm not happy. Mindfulness is the ability to just be. I'm here right now. I'm not going to judge, and I'll teach you how we're going to do that, okay? And so it's the art of cultivating the ability to be in control of your mind instead of your mind being in control of you. And what do I mean by that? As I said to you earlier, our mind is like a tape recorder that keeps going, right? And unless we pause it, it's just taking us through life automatically. It's okay? All right, so that's what mindfulness helps us do. And so what are the benefits? If you read up, if you go home tonight, tomorrow morning, and you research what mindfulness does, it decreases the symptoms of anxiety and depression. So part of my work, when I work with people that are anxious or people that are depressed, is I bring mindfulness into their lives, okay? Because I said to you, anxiety is the worry about the future, and depression is the regret about the past, okay? It helps you feel content day to day. Something happened in the past, I can't do anything. What's going to happen in the future, I don't know. Right? But what can I do right now? It allows you to do that intentionally and consciously. And so with that comes this sense of calm, right? Because people who are thinking about the past are occupied, and people who are thinking about the future are anxious. So the mindfulness allows you to be here and now. It improves your focus on self, as I said, and I say to people all the time, you know, we don't have the ability to change others. As much as we try, we don't. We spend our life worrying about others' behaviors, right? I wish I could stop him or her from doing something. But in reality, and a lot of the seniors here will tell you, it's you. You have to focus on what can I do? How can I change, right? Because we don't have control over other people's reactions and other people's lives. It reduces your stress. It gives you that appreciation and gratitude. And, you know, we learn in our religion that most of our religion is about shukr, right? It's about, you know, people say, how do I do shukr? Well, mindfulness is about that, okay? Any questions so far? We're good? Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, so how does it work? It's all about the brain, right? Mindfulness is, you know, people just think it's a technique. Most psychotherapy techniques are about the brain. It's about changing the brain, okay? And so in a nutshell, to make it in simple terms, we have this emotional part of our brain called the limbic system, okay? The emotional part. And there's an amygdala in there, okay? That's the science part of this. And anytime things happen, that gets activated, okay? But when that gets activated, the part that we need, which is the frontal lobe right here, that we need for decision-making, rationalizing, executive functioning, planning, you know, wrong, right, that shuts down, goes offline. So the emotional part of the brain and the part that we need for decisions can't come together at the same time. That's why you notice when you're over-emotional, you're either crying or slamming doors or walking off, right? You're not going, I'm feeling so sad and I'm going to handle this properly. Right? You're not saying, I'm feeling so angry and I know exactly how I'm going to do this. You have to kind of calm down before you can start using this part of your brain. So mindfulness, as you do the activities with me, that calms that emotional part, the limbic part. And as you calm this part, this frontal lobe that's needed comes online. So the more mindfulness you practice, the more you can access the part of your brain that you need to access for day-to-day functioning. Okay? And so when you do that, obviously as a result, you're better decision-making, better problem-solving, better choices. You start to see things clearly. And because of that, the benefits I was talking about is what you reap when you start practicing mindfulness. So there's a lot of types of mindfulness, and you will come across yoga and meditation and prayer, right? There's mindful walking, mindful breathing, mindful movement, mindful eating that we're going to do a little bit of today, okay? Mindful stretching, because all mindfulness is bringing your attention to your present, right? So people use all sorts of ways of doing it. When you go out for a walk, I invite you now when you go out, use your 5 senses to walk. What am I seeing? What am I hearing? What can I smell? What can I touch? What can I taste? And it's going to transform the way you walk. Okay, Islamically speaking, you start to recognize the signs of Allah. Like when you're walking and you notice the leaves that are green, you'll actually notice, oh wow, they're so green, and that one's lighter and that one's darker. And that kind of transforms the way you interact with the world. Right? So that's mindful walking. But today, we're going to do a few things. So we're going to do a body scan, mindful eating practice with the grapes, mindful breathing, and then because we're in an Islamic environment, I'll talk a little bit about mindful prayer as well. Okay? Sorry? Yeah. Absolutely. And part of the research around mindfulness, it shows that people who have been living stressful lives or people who have been under trauma for whatever years, mindfulness can be implemented to help. Because remember, our brain has been created to change, right? If you look at the research they talk about neuroplasticity and the brain changing. This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who's created the brain in a way that it's so malleable, it's so changeable. And so mindfulness is one way to make those changes happen. CT scans and stuff show that practicing mindfulness actually changes the structures of certain parts of the brain. Okay. Right. So, this one usually, I will ask people, like, when you're lying down in bed or you're sitting right now, this is called a body scan. Right? So how is this mindfulness? Is because you're going to start to interact with your body by being present with it. Many of us, you hit a certain age and you start to feel pain in places. You start to neck pains and back pains and shoulder pains. And so the body scan is basically allowing you to pay attention to your body. Right? What's happening in my body right now? What does my body need at any given moment? Okay, so I'm just going to ask you to you're sitting, so that's fine. If you're home and you go to sleep, you can do this while you're lying down. You're going to pay attention, kind of like when you photocopy something and you're scanning it? So you're scanning your body from your feet all the way to the tip of your head using your mind, so mindfulness, and you're paying attention to any sensation. Okay, so do I feel pain? Does it feel tender? Does it feel okay? Right? And part of that is bringing attention to what's happening in our body. We ignore pain, right? A lot of the times, because of that automatic, a lot of us are under constant stress, but we ignore the neck pain, the back pain. And doing that has long-term health problems, right? So part of this is bringing that attention. So I'll ask you to just, for 1 second, this one's going to be quick because I'm going to go to the other ones that are a lot more interesting. But because I was told I'm also working with the senior population, I think this one's very important because we ignore that pain, which is very important for you to be mindful of, right? So take your attention to the bottom of your feet. So actually, hold on a second. Take your attention to this mic. Okay? And here's the tricky part. Your mind is going to wander. You're going to have thoughts, right? And that's okay. We're not here to stop your thoughts. We're not here to control them. We're here to guide the mind to something else, all right? So people usually say, I try to stop my thoughts. We can't stop our thoughts, right? Like your heart, Allah created your heart to beat, right? It pumps blood. And your mind was created to think. It has thoughts. Can you tell your heart, no, for today, don't pump blood. You're going to breathe instead. Can we do that? Can't. Similarly, our mind, it's made to think. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we need to follow each thought, right? We don't follow each heartbeat, right? So our mind will have thousands of thoughts a day. I think I'm tempted to say 60,000. Somebody can research that for me and let me know. But there's thousands of thoughts that happen. Okay? So as you focus that mind on the tip of this black mic, you will notice that there's thoughts. What I want you to do is allow them to be. Don't follow, don't judge, don't question. Just bring your attention here. Okay, were you able to do that? It'll be difficult for many people. And usually when I train in mindfulness, we start with like 3 seconds, and then we go to 5 seconds. And some people are up to 30 minutes they can look at a mic. I still can't do it, right? But it takes very conscious effort to do that. So now when I say to you that take your attention to the bottom of your feet, right? You know what I'm talking about. You're taking your mind to the soles of your feet, and you're going to scan your body, like to your ankles, to your knees, to your thighs, and you're just going to pay attention. You can close your eyes if you want to. No one's watching you. We're good 6 feet apart. I will also look down myself, okay? And you're going to take your attention to the soles of your feet, kind of scanning your body upwards and just noticing. You're not questioning. Going upwards to your knees, your thighs, your stomach, your chest. And you're going to notice if there's any sensation, any pain. And if you find that there's an area where there's pain or there's tension, just kind of breathe into it. Just pay attention to that part. And you're going to try to let go of that tension just by breathing into that area. And then you're going to move up till you're at the tip of your head. Okay. How was that? Was that easy? Was it difficult? Was it not? Were you not able to do it? How was that? Yeah, right? Because we're not used to doing it, right? Our brain doesn't recognize that. And so, for us to be able to do something easily, we have to do it over and over and over again, okay? And when we do that over and over and over again, we create a pathway in our brain for that behavior to become automatic, habitual, right? Just like, when I think of Islam and I think of everything about Islam, it's all about habit, repetition. When we memorize the Quran, repetition. Salah, repetition. When we learn the alphabet, repetition. Our salahs are at the same time, every day, repetition, right? We fast, and so if you think about it, how to change the brain and incorporate certain habits, it's repetition, right? We have to do it over and over again. So with this body scan, I invite you to invite yourself that daily, maybe before I go to bed, or when I wake up in the morning, I'll kind of just scan my body to see. And you might think, yeah, I've got some tension, right? And you can then pause and go, what can I do differently? Have I been overworking, right? Do I need to see a doctor? Do I need to talk to somebody? Do I need to stretch? So now you're bringing self-care into your life because of mindfulness. But if you're an automatic and you're not questioning, then you're waking, doing, sleeping, right? And that's how life just keeps going until one day you wake up and you're exhausted, okay? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Body scan it's literally exactly that, right? You're scanning your body, but you're doing it mindfully, meaning you're paying attention to only that. So remember, mindfulness is that single presence, right? I'm only paying attention, like we were mindful with this, right? Like we just paid attention to this one thing. And that's basically what mindfulness is, right? It's just bringing your awareness to now. All this is happening, all that has happened, but my attention is coming to my now. That's basically what it is. And yes, it does. It absolutely does make a difference. Okay? I don't know how to do this in terms of the grapes. Everyone's supposed to have 2 grapes. Can we pass it on? Okay. Yeah. Maybe we should have two bowls. So everyone gets two, and don't eat the grapes yet. Eat 2 grapes each, yes. You'll never look at a grape the same again after today. If there's leftover, you're more than welcome to take home. No, please don't eat the grapes yet. Can you please don't eat the grapes yet? You ate it, right? I knew that was going to happen. No, don't eat the grapes yet. It happens in every workshop. I used to do it with like Smarties. They were gone like this. So I just switched to grapes. Maybe he needs 2 more grapes. उन्होंने 2 खा लिए. नहीं, 2 खा लिए. With what? So there's CBT, which is cognitive behavior therapy, and then there's mindfulness, and then there's CBT with mindfulness. So we can, like the practice that some people are trained in is the combination of both. Okay? Yeah. Yes, please. Yes, please. Okay. Does everybody oh, this side still, where did that little boy go? Oh yeah, please, go ahead, right here. Yeah. That's it. Right. 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 Yeah. The brother came up with a beautiful point saying that you only know what's happening to your body if you're mindful about your body, right? And that's essentially what we're talking about. Right. Yes. Right. Yeah. And self-reflection, introspection is part of this. Yeah. Here, grab 2 grapes. You'll watch everybody really savoring them, so come and grab 2 grapes. Okay. So everyone has 2 grapes, okay? And so I said to you, right, that we can incorporate mindfulness in anything, right? And so mindful eating is really dear to me because a lot of people struggle with eating, right? They're eating behaviors like either they're eating a lot or, they're eating too little. So what mindful eating does is it allows you to appreciate your food. Islamically speaking, again, it's giving that shukr to what's in front of you. But when we're automatic, right, how fast can you have like a burger? It's gone. I've got teenage boys, right? When I put a burger in front of them, it's devoured within 5 minutes, not even, it's gone, right? And they want to eat more because it's just so fast, okay? So mindful eating is, once again, bringing your attention to what you're eating, and we're going to do that now. So take your first grape, eat it like you normally do, like as if you eat a grape. Just eat it. Sweet? It's nice, huh? Okay. So the second grape, I'm going to ask you to put it in your palm, right? And I want you to look at that grape. Okay? Look at the size, the shape, the color. Maybe it's got green and some spots. Mine has some spots. Kind of roll it around in your palm and you'll feel the wetness of the water. right? Some coolness in the grape. And then put it between your two fingers and maybe roll it a little bit and look at it. Really pay attention. You can put it by your ear to see if there's a sound, not really. But you might hear the water, right? Maybe smell that grape. Right? Smells a bit earthy, a bit fruity, right? Now you're going to take that grape and put it in your mouth, but not chew. Put it in your mouth and put it in between your teeth. And maybe you'll feel the coldness, right? And very slowly, from in between your teeth, if you want, you can close your eyes. You're going to very subtly bite down on that grape. Okay? And allow the juices to flow. Allow the coolness, the flavor, the sound. And when you're ready, you're going to allow that to slowly go down. Swallow it very slowly. And then you're going to open your eyes. And how was that grape for you compared to the first grape? It was juicier, right? Enjoyable, right? Anyone notice anything else? The sisters in the back? It was more concentrated, right? It was tastier, wasn't it? Yeah. Right. You taste the quality. Right. 100%. Yes, my dear. Right. 100%. And so, have you ever really looked and smelt and heard a grape? No, right? If you look at this, like it's such a beautiful little small fruit that we've never paid attention to. And so that kind of increases that gratitude right there, just with a grape, right? And so you can do that with your rice, with your burgers, with whatever, right? With your bananas, whatever you like. It changes that experience of your eating. And when we work with people who are also fixing their eating habits, it's reported in research that people that eat mindfully eat better, eat lesser, and are filled faster, right? So they don't have to have 2 burgers. 1 burger becomes full. Yes, my dear. Right. Switch off the TV, right? No, I told you. Yes. Right. It's habit, right? Like I just talked right earlier about automatic, right? So it's really being aware of, I do that, right? Like we do these automatic behaviors, and you're right, we don't even know that the TV goes on and we just go grab popcorn. Right. And so it's you really bringing that awareness to myself that that's a habit that I have. How can I mindfully live life? One of the ways is to eat mindfully and then be mindful of not taking chips to the TV. So it's breaking habits, right? Okay. So hopefully you kind of understood the benefits and you felt the benefits of mindful eating, okay? And you start to implement that in your life moving forward. And now when you see a grape, you'll always think of it differently.
Mindfulness eating is one of the best way to reduce weight.
Yes, it's in the research, absolutely.
The average, if you do it 40 days,
Right.
minimum 10 kilos.
Okay, another workshop on that. So the other one is mindful breathing. And the reason I like this one is because your breath is with you till the last moment, right? Like you're not going to be, where's my grape? Start searching for a grape if you're trying to, live mindfully or calm down or something like that. But you'll always have your breath. You'll always have air, inshallah, right? So mindful breathing is using your breath as your anchor. Again, gratitude. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me breath, right? And clean air. There's parts of the world that don't have clean air. I'm seeing people sell air in containers and now, right? So that's bringing gratitude into your life. Your breath is always with you. And the way we do mindful breathing is, we'll do it right now, is I said to you, you allow the thoughts to be. We're not here to control the thoughts. We're not here to follow them. We're here to allow them to be. Just like the heart's going to beat, the mind is going to think. Okay? We just fool ourselves that we have to be going with our minds. Right? So research actually shows, again, that mindful breathing is associated with a decrease of symptoms of anxiety and depression. And now you're starting to get why, right? Because you're in your present moment. Okay, so I'm going to invite you, if you want, you can lower your gaze, you can look at a spot in front of you, or you can close your eyes. And I'm going to ask you to take your attention again to where your breath enters your nose. And start to breathe like you normally do. And focus your mind on how your breath enters your nose and exits your mouth. You will notice that your mind is wandering, and that's okay. You're just going to bring your attention back to your breath, where it enters your nose and it exits your mouth. If you're able to make your breath a little bit deeper and longer than usual, go ahead. And every time your mind wanders, just very gently bring it back to your breath. You might notice sounds, other people. That's okay. Once again, just bring your attention back to your breath where it enters the nose and it exits your mouth. And when you're ready, you can come back to me. Yeah, you're consciously taking your attention to your breath. Okay? Even though it's automatic, you're taking your attention to it. Did anyone notice anything as they were doing that? Yeah. You know, I did a workshop at a high school where I was doing this, and a kid, I think it was grade 10, he fell asleep. And it's probably the only profession where you're happy when that happens, right? Because you realize that the person actually went into a good state. Now remember, earlier I told you that emotional part of the brain, right? And so when you're calming it, what's happening is you're allowing yourself to relax. You're calming that emotional part of your brain. And that's what mindfulness does. It takes away the panic and the stress. And what happens when we take away stress, we start to feel at ease. We start to feel sleepy, right? Anyone else notice anything else? Was it hard, difficult? Did it feel weird? Right. 100%. And that's one thing we're going to, at the end, how do we incorporate this? And part of this is in prayer, right? We talk about khushu all the time. We talk to imams all the time. How do I have khushu? What do I do to increase my khushu in salah? Well, part of this is being mindful of your salah, right? Is being present in that moment, leaving the past, leaving the future, and being here and now. How can I do that? Maybe I can use my breath. My breath is with me right now. How do I anchor myself in this present moment? I follow my breath. My mind wanders to, I gotta cook, I gotta drive, I gotta do homework. I'm gonna come back to my breath right now in this present moment. Okay? And so here we are with the last one, which is mindfulness in prayer, right? The sister talked about dhikr, good segue. A lot of the time, we talk about khushu, as I said. It's bringing awareness of your heart and your mind to this present moment, right? What is our salah about? It's about that connecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala right now, right? But half the times we're busy in the future and we're regretting the past. So if we do mindful prayer, it's about that, how do I connect with my heart? How do I bring my mind to the present moment? So as I said to you, one way is using that breath. The other thing you can do is, when we're using that breath, is focus the attention on your heart, right? Bringing your mind to that heart. Okay, and I'm going to do that with you for 30 seconds because it's really transformative. And so same thing, you're going to breathe in from your nose. So once again, you can lower your gaze or close your eyes, whatever you're comfortable with. You're going to take your attention to where your breath enters your nose and exits your mouth. And if you notice your mind wandering this time, I want you to bring your mind to your heart or your chest area. As you breathe in from your nose and out from your mouth. Once again, if you notice your mind wandering, just bring it back to your heart. When you're ready, you can come back to me again. Did you notice anything different this time? Say it again? Yeah. So you paid attention to it, right? How many times a day do we even know our hearts are beating, right? That's the automatic. And you feel this sort of calm because there's actually research that shows that our heart and our brain is connected. They send messages back and forth. And so part of telling our brain we're relaxed is when we have a stable breathing, right? And we do that. If we focus on the heart, it sends messages to our brain, that's okay. Everything's okay. Be calm, be relaxed. There's nothing to panic about. Okay? Mindfulness in prayer again. What it does for you is it brings awareness of the Almighty and His names and attributes, right? So before Salah, think about those attributes and those names. That's mindfulness in prayer. Who am I praying to? What are His names, right? Right. And just focusing on those names, it's huge, right? But how many times do we do that right before Salah? It's time to pray, we go into prayer. We don't reflect on who we're actually going to bow down to, who we're asking, and what we can ask. Okay, so bringing this mindfulness into your prayer changes that relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well. Okay? And then as I said before, the gratitude, the shukr, half our life is about shukr, right? And then lastly, khushu. Ultimately, if someone asks you, what did you learn? What was mindfulness? My answer is it's khushu in life, really. Okay? It's that attention to your present moment, being one with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at every given moment that you can. And so the last bits, how do I do this? How do I implement this? How do I not be an automatic? Well, I said to you, your breath is with you all the time. You don't need to find it, right? It's there. So any given moment, you can mindfully, intentionally say, okay, I'm just going to do that 30-second thing Reena taught me. Anytime you want, right? I wake up, I sleep, before I brush my teeth, I'm cooking, I'm driving. I can bring my attention to my breath and be mindful, okay? Practice suggestions, what I like to do, we pray 5 times minimum. You don't have to remind yourself. We know that we pray, right? Incorporate there. Before you stand up from your salah, do the 30 seconds. Okay, during meals, that's how you bring mindfulness of eating in. Tell yourself for one meal, I will eat mindfully. Okay, before bedtime, that's always the best one to do the body scan because you're lying down. You can go over your body at that time. Where do I feel tension? Where do I feel pressure? When you're outside and going for a walk, remember I told you to walk with your 5 senses. What do I see, hear, touch, smell, taste? We're walking right now, you're going to leave the masjid. I invite you to notice the air. Notice the sky and the stars. What smell do you have in the air? What sounds? You might hear birds or crickets. So every time we go out, start to do that. That's mindful presence. And that starts to change the brain structure, even if we're doing it slowly and in small quantities. Okay, for some people who are super busy, we're addicted to these things, unfortunately. Put a timer, right? Put a timer on that's going to beep. Oh, it's time for my mindful walk, or it's time for my mindful breathing. Put the timer on your phone. A lot of people, I say, put on Post-its. If you work at a desk, I put, on my laptop or on my printer or on my fridge, just little reminders of, okay, to pause. Ultimately, what you're doing is you're reminding yourself, instead of being an automatic, I'm going to pause. I'm going to press a pause on my tape recorder. I'm going to press pause on life. And I'm going to bring myself to this moment. Yeah, there's stuff in the past I'm not proud of, I'm not happy about. Yeah, there's stuff in the future I have no control over. But I can be now. I can choose to be here right now in this very moment. Okay? And ultimately, it's talking about controllable versus non-controllable factors. A lot of times in therapy, this is what we're doing. We're helping people figure out what's in your control and what's not in your control, right? So in your control is yourself. It are your actions, your reactions, and what I can do with certainty right now, right? Not in your control are other people. As much as you want to change them, right? As much as you think you're controlling them, you're not, right? Actions of other people, reactions of other people, right? And the uncertain is also not in your control. So you're reminding yourself of what do I have in my control? And your take-home messages for today, right, are ultimately that mindfulness does not have to be meditation. The reason I say this is because a lot of Muslim community members think that we don't do mindfulness, right, because that has to do with other people's religion. But hopefully I convinced you it has everything to do with our religion, right, everything. It's already a concept when we talk about khushu'. You know that the take-home message of the benefits, reducing stress reduction, your sleep, your gratitude, right, improving your memory, improving your self-care habits. And then the last thing is to make it an intentional part of your life, to schedule it daily. So when you leave here, you can leave this behind, or you can say, I'm going to take one thing. I'm going to start to eat mindfully or walk mindfully or notice something. I'm going to take one thing and start practicing that all the time. And as I said to you, for something to become automatic and part of our life, we have to do it over and over again. That creates the pathway. When the adhan goes on, how do we know it's salah time? Because we've been doing it over and over again. We've created that pathway. So even if we don't pray, we all know it's time to pray. And our body knows the motions, right? We know exactly what to do. Why? Because you've been doing it over and over again. So same thing, whatever one thing you take, practice it constantly, and it will become habitual for you. So here are just a few resources. And if anybody wants any more, the brothers can reach out to me and I can share with you. As I said, I'm one of the directors of Cedarway Therapy, which is a clinic that does psychotherapy and psychological assessments. I do have the cards and the flyers here. Otherwise, there are many there's a lot of support in our community now, a lot of good things happening. And if you want the numbers or connections to any one of those, you can reach out and we will connect you with that. There's some distress lines. There's something like a friendly voice for seniors who are just looking to talk to somebody. There's Telecheck Seniors by Spectra, who does check-ins for people 55 plus. A lot of good resources. And so you're not alone. There's always someone to turn to and ask for support. We just have to do that. We just have to ask for support. Okay? And so that was in a nutshell, the mindfulness workshop, and I'm open to any sort of questions that you guys have for me. I don't know how long we have. Okay, so we have about 10 minutes. If anyone has any questions, you can go ahead and ask me, and if you don't, then I can just wait on the side. If anyone has any, personal questions that they want to ask, then they can go ahead as well. And there's grapes, so feel free. The brother wanted to take home, right? Here you go.
You want to take the grape home? You want to take grape home? You want me to? You have enough?
I don't think I have enough, but yeah, maybe in the next worship I'll bring. A few people took, so whoever wants to take.
So we'll keep it here. If anybody wants.
The cards I brought a few, so if anybody wants to take the cards, go ahead. Otherwise, it's just.
Yeah. Why you took two?
I have many persons. That's why I take.
They need help. Yes, brother.
You can have fruit of patience.
Yeah, so Unfortunately, psychotherapy is not covered under OHIP unless you're going through sort of a doctor or psychiatric care. But many people have insurance coverages through workplaces where they pay and then they get reimbursed by their workplaces. Yes, so children, youth, teenagers, adolescents, all the way till seniors. If you can see, mashallah, we have a massive team and we have people that speak a lot of languages. And so we work across the lifespan and with multiple groups. Mostly they are. We have a mixture of clinicians, both Muslim and non-Muslim, but a lot of our clinicians are also Muslim and from different backgrounds so that we can fit the diverse population that we have. Mhm. Yeah, there's the info at Cedarway Therapy over there where you can, there's clinicians you can choose from, or you don't have to choose. You can ask for a consult, and we will link you with whoever is a best fit for your person. Thank you. Any questions around the workshop or anything that anyone needs to know? Why the concept of meditation? I think because in sort of the media, meditation is very linked to a different religion, right? Like when we think of meditation, we think of Buddhism. That's the main one that comes to mind, right? Or we think of the yoga pose. And so there's this concept of, oh, it has to be religious. We just learned it can be, but it doesn't have to be. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And that's what mindfulness is. Thank you for actually saying that. It's actually a way of life. Yeah. Right, right. It has a lot of physical and mental health benefits.
He's our teacher in the seniors program.
Nice. No, and
Yoga and exercise.
that's beautiful. Yeah. And it's exactly that. It's a way of life, right?
Thank you very much,
Thank you,
everybody.
guys.
Thanks a lot for joining us, and thank you, Reena, for.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Who wants grape?